Hi there, and welcome to Today I Learned About, the show where we put Canada on the map by blowing up a piece of it. Once mankind mastered fire, our lives improved drastically. It kept us warm, it helped us see, it cooked our food. Shadow puppets were the original YouTube. Then, man discovered explosives, and shit got real. The Chinese are credited with discovering gunpowder around the 9th century CE. By the end of the 13th century, thanks to the Mongols, explosives had spread well into Europe. Before explosives were discovered, breaking something into a million pieces took all day. Now, in just a matter of seconds, you can dismantle a wall, create a hole in the ground, or turn Jim into pink mist. Metallic. Battlefields throughout history have always left a big soupy mess of bodies and weapons. But with a little rain and some crows, things would return back to normal pretty quickly. Warfare has always been the ultimate one-up and big dick contest between countries. By the time we got to World War I, explosives were being used at an industrial level that has never been seen before. Artillery was the primary weapon on the Western Front, turning the green rolling hills of France into Mordor. Fun fact, this is where Tolkien is thought to have gotten the idea for Lord of the Rings. This large-scale destruction drained Europe of materials used to make explosives. The Allies relied heavily on countries like Canada to help top up these supplies. This meant sending ships packed to the tits with explosives across the Atlantic. One such ship was the Mont Blanc. In the early morning of December 6, 1917, the Mont Blanc was entering the harbor in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Later, it would join a convoy that would escort it across the Atlantic to France with resupplies for the Allies. She was packed with highly explosive munitions and high-octane gasoline. The ship is full of explosives. Sacre bleu. There is not a square inch of this ship that is not packed with something that will not explode. If we bump anything other than waves, we will explode. Just boom. Biggest explosion. I probably should not have packed so many explosives onto this ship. I regret it very much. But c'est la vie. So away we go. Meanwhile, the cargo ship, the SS Emo, was leaving Halifax. All we are carrying is coal. It is very much not explosive, so let's just get out to sea as quickly as possible. Let's just weave in and out of this oncoming boat, so fuck the rules. What is the worst that can happen? We get our stupid coal wet? Yeah, too. Weaving in and out of the proper lanes at high speed, the Emo steered narrowly, missing the Mont Blanc. But, in a panic, the Emo threw its engines into reverse, causing the front end to kick out in the direction of the Mont Blanc. 8:45. The collision was in slow motion, barely moving 1 knot, but the impact was hard enough to damage some barrels full of benzene on the Mont Blanc, releasing vapors. Sparks from the rubbing boats ignited the fumes, causing major fire on board. The captain of the Mont Blanc didn't have to tell his crew twice to abandon ship. This chain reaction of bad choices was about to come to an epic punchline. However, one shining hero clues into what's happening. A train dispatcher by the name of Vince Coleman spent his last minutes making sure a train with over 300 passengers was warned in time to stop outside the blast radius. He saved those lives at the cost of his own. 9:04. The Mont Blanc exploded. And I mean huge explosion. This was one of the largest man-made non-nuclear explosions ever. It remained the standard of measuring explosives until the atom bomb was invented 30 years later. Blast equaled 2.9 kilotons. For comparison, the atom bomb named Little Boy that dropped on Hiroshima was 15 kilotons. The shock wave flattened buildings for up to 2.6 kilometers away. So much water was displaced by this explosion that the harbor floor was momentarily exposed. Kind of like when you stomp in a mud puddle really hard and you can see the bottom for a few seconds before all the water rushes back. Well, this was a lot more than a puddle. All the water surging back created a tsunami that hit the shores and a second wave of destruction. So if somehow you survived the blast, the massive wave was sure to take you out. Oh my God, I survived. Going to church every Sunday is finally paid off. Oh God. The anchor of the Mont Blanc weighed over half a ton, and it landed 3.8 kilometers away. That anchor is now a monument in the city as a reminder of that day. The explosion killed close to 2,000 people and injured almost 9,000 in a town of around 65,000 people. For context, recent tragedies like 9/11 killed just under 3,000 and injured 6,000. Shock waves from the blast shattered tens of thousands of windows up to 50 miles away. All this flying glass caused hundreds of eye injuries, leaving several dozen people completely blind. Because of all these eye injuries, Halifax became internationally known as the center for caring for the blind. I bet nobody's seen that coming. The nearby state of Massachusetts was the first to dispatch a train load of doctors, nurses, and medical supplies to help. To this day, the province of Nova Scotia gifts Boston Commons a Christmas tree every year as thanks of gratitude for their help that day. Rescue efforts carried on all throughout the night. The next day, a blizzard came in with over 4 feet of snow, hampering rescue efforts drastically as people tried to dig through the snow to find any remaining lives. Now you know, before Hiroshima, there was Halifax. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. That would be the bomb. So long and stay frosty.